Hello friends, welcome back to MDCZ. Today in this 10th episode, I'm gonna explain the story of Jack Kirby's Eternals Comics issue 10, Mother. Before we start this, if you are new to MDCZ then please hit the subscribe button and also press the bell icon so you'll never miss the new video updates ever. So without wasting your time, let's start this video. In the last episode, we know that Ison started to destroy Deviant City. Ison destroyed Deviant's weapon system with his bare hands. Deviants got scared and they tried to escape to save their lives. But some Deviants tried to fight back. They started attacking Ison with their weapons. Deviants informed the High Command that the weapons are useless against the Space God. Ison destroyed Deviant's first weapon station. Deviants used their warcraft to attack Ison. They started firing on him. Suddenly, a new passage opened in front of Ison. It's a way to the new Lemuria. Ison saw that and raised his hand towards the tunnel. He moved towards the passage. Suddenly, Ison cracked open the barrier to the new Lemuria city. His giant arm raises over the entire Lemuria city. Ison used all absorbed energy and attacked the entire city. Ison's hand got vanished, but he leaves lots of destruction behind. Water broke inside the city because of the attack. Deviants were struggling to save their lives. Soon the water started to level off and the Deviant staff came to inspect the damage. Deviants only care for those who are useful, others are just expendable for them. Deviants informed their commissioner that their emergency division is working on this problem. Commissioner ordered him to work fast because the water has reached the palace. Deviants said that they are doing everything they can to keep the Great Toad and his royal family safe. Commissioner ordered him to send assault troop also because some issues are happening in the royal combat arena. On the other hand, Ison left the Emilia city and dived towards the deep waters. Now for the next 50 years, it will be his personal place. Other members of the fourth host also started to their work in different areas. Hagen looks like a monument in Tyrolean Alps. The people around Hagen was surprised and shocked after seeing him. Onek was doing his work in Australian Outlands. Television crew and law officers already reached there to inspect him. They didn't receive a single sound on their mic from Onek. After inspecting the photographs, journalists sent a crew to investigate this matter and they spotted Neza in Siberia. In Olympia, Zurus was inspecting the space god's moves. He told Domo that the space gods are far away from their base in the Ents mountains. They started their operation across the world. Domo asked Zurus that, can you get more information from the device? Domo said that this link-up device allows the Eternals to make contact with intergalactic origin. Zurus was sitting on the chair by wearing the device on his head. Zurus said the Celestials are too strong and their power is beyond our imagination. And communicating with them is not that easy. Now Zurus can able to see the Celestial's homecraft. It was so big that it can quickly destroy a moon. With the device, Zurus successfully made contact with the Celestial craft. After that, he seems kind of scared. Domo asked Zurus what happened. Zurus started yelling. He saw something that frightened him. Suddenly, link-up started to break and intensely bright light started coming from the device. Zurus was in so much pain. Domo realizes that a strong-minded trust has taken control of the link-up device. The contact got broken. Zurus said he no longer needs the device now. It seems like Zurus knew everything about the Celestials and their plan. Zurus removed that device from his head and handed over it to Domo. Zurus was amazed after having a glimpse of the entire universe. Domo said that it is impossible to shook a great Eternal's mind, but yet it is there on the craft. He is the one above all. He is the commander of the fourth host. The mission of the fourth host is to fulfill the 50-year judgment, and what we are witnessing now is the beginning of their work. We may don't like the outcome of their mission. Domo said 50 years is a crucial moment for eternal life. If this destruction is confirmed, then we must need to act on this. Zurus ordered Domo to activate the unifier. Domo started running to fulfill Zurus' order. He said, after the great flood, this is the first time that the unifier is about to get activated. Domo started his machine to initiate activation of Unifier. Suddenly a device came out from that machine. Domo activated Unifier. Unifier is used to inform, or we can say, we can call it, to fellow Eternals. Eternals from entire Olympia heard the call. Actually, Eternals from all over the world can hear that call. Everyone was surprised after hearing this call. They never heard this call for centuries. On the other hand, Icarus was punishing Sprite for his mistakes. Macri heard that the call and informed Icarus and asked him to focus on the important stuff. Mago agreed and asked Icarus to stop punishing Sprite. Icarus said he also heard the call. He was literally enjoying punishing Sprite. Macri said that Sprite will learn his lesson because of your punishment. Mago said Sprite is just a kid who also loves to play pranks. Suddenly, Sprite's head started glowing up again. Icarus realizes that Sprite is doing his tricks again. Icarus was holding Sprite in his hands and suddenly Sprite turned himself into an ugly creature. Icarus felt disgusted. Sprite warned Icarus and asked him to cut him loose or he'll turn into something even worse. Icarus warned him and told him that never mess with him and his friends again. Icarus threw Sprite. As soon as Sprite got away from Icarus, he started teasing him and soon he ran away. Icarus felt sad for Mago. He told Mago that they picked a wrong time to show her Olympia. First, she frightened because of the monstrous things and now the call. But Mago said that she finds Sprite exciting. Macri told her that he is not that young as she thinks. Shakespeare included Sprite in one of his plays. Macri said that it was old time when humans and Eternals were separated by fantasies, but now their fate is the same. Margot asked, does that mean the call is also meant for humans? Icarus told her that it means she is welcome to join them. Icarus said only Eternals can hear this call from wherever they are, just like Cersei, who is in the New York City right now. Macri told Icarus don't forget about Thena, who is on a foolish trip right now. Macri said in Thena's past life, being with Crow is turned out to be a bad experience for her. And now she is with Deviants. Meanwhile, in Lemuria, Thena was facing Ransak. The safety was lifted up and now Ransak was standing in front of them with the full of rage. Deviants asked for help. Crow called reinforcement to destroy Ransak. Thena said that the Deviants are the main reason behind this trouble. They turned that poor Ransak into a killing machine and now he can't stop. Crow told Thena that her words won't stop him. Crow asked Thena to find a safe place till he hold Ransak. Crow came forward but Ransak was so angry he grabbed Crow's neck. He kept shouting, I hate you, I hate you. Suddenly with intense energy, they got separated from each other. Ransak realizes that Thena is behind this attack. Ransak somehow knew about Thena's powers since he saw her first at the beginning of the battle. Ransak was full of rage, so he tried to rise up, but again with another attack he fell down again. But Ransak stood up and started running towards Thena. He had no control over his rage, but with another intense energy blast, he fell down. Thena said Ransak was definitely got stunned by this attack and he still needs to learn to respect Eternals and all others. Crow said that they raised him for the battle arena since his childhood, so he'll never gonna change. Thena said it's not good to destroy him for that. Crow said he's the living proof that deviant species are now stopped producing monsters. Thena told Crow that the fault lies within you, not within your monsters. Deviants self-hatred will be going to plague them. Crow told Thena, let the space ghost empty this world and only leave you and him behind. Thena said she needs to leave now. Crow asked Thena to not leave. He said they need more time. If they stay apart from each other now, then they might lose each other forever. Thena said that there's no more time now. She heard the call. Crow got angry by hearing this. Crow blamed Eternals for this situation. Thena said not a single Eternal can fail to answer the call, so she must return to Olympia. She said if they face trial against the space gods, then let's do it in the way they honor. Suddenly, they both heard a loud voice. Someone was laughing. He said that there's nothing that can find in Deviants. It was Kirkus. Crow thought he died in combat with Ransak. Kirkus said that he suffered from a deep wounds, but yet he lived so that he can laugh on those who judge others. Thena came forward without fear. Thena found Kirkus amazing. She told Kirkus that he can think, he can speak, he can feel in a great sensitivity. which makes him a different and amazing. Circus thanked Thena for not calling him a monster. Circus came forward towards Thena and said that the deviants will kill him because he is one of them and he is like muted harassment for them. Thena asked Circus for what he wants from her. Crow warned Thena and told her to be careful. Circus said he wants a place where he can live his life peacefully. Crow told Circus that he'll get what he deserves, a place in a combat arena to fight or die. Rancid rises behind him and he heard this. Rancid came forward and attacked Crow from behind. Crow fell apart from them. Rancid stood in front of Thena. He told her that she is sat with those who would like to watch him die. Rancid was so furious, but still he amazed by Thena. He finds her different and a good person. Rancid asked Thena about herself, like who is she or what is she. Thena slowly touches Rancid's head. First he got scared, but after that first time in his life, he felt lots of emotions except anger. Circus asked Thena a same shelter for Rancid. Circus said that they are made like this, but they not born like this. Thena agreed to Circus. Circus said that they are now Thena's monsters. Thena accepted them both and offers them a protection of Olympia. Rancid didn't believe this because first time in his life someone offered him life. Thena tried to hold Rancid's hand, said that she gave the word and she'll gonna keep it. Thena offered him to join her and learn the ways of the Eternals. Crow recovered from the attack. He saw what Thena did and he finds it madness. Thena said goodbye to Crow and told him that she is going with Rancid and Circus to Olympia. In a matter of time, intense energy blazes and they got vanished. Crow asked Thena to come back. Roof started to fall down, water broke inside the palace. Crow kept shouting for Thena. That flood leaves lots of damage to deviants. Deviants lost lots of things, but Crow has lost more than them. And here the story of the 10th issue ends. As I told you before, lots of interesting things are about to come in this series, so stay tuned. If you love this episode, then please hit the like and share button and also please share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you are new to MDCZ, then hit the subscribe button right now and also press the bell icon so you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. So that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, stay home, stay happy and stay safe.